On the Krypton Factor, we bring together from the corners of the globe 4 of the world's supreme quiz show champions to do battle in television's toughest test. From Los Angeles in the United States of America, Mort Kamins, 41, winner of 3 major American quiz shows, and with those titles, $250,000. From Brisbane, Australia, Hayward Maberley, 36, world's biggest ever quiz show prize winner with a total of $350,000. From New Zealand, McDonnell, 34, and reigning Krypton Factor international champion. And from the United Kingdom, Topham, 1983 Krypton Factor superperson and current assault course record holder. A lineup of quiz show supreme champions for tonight's Krypton Factor International Challenge. And here's your host, Gordon Burns.
Good evening and welcome to this international edition of the Krypton Factor. And tonight it is truly a battle of the giants because we have brought together 4 supreme champions of television quiz shows around the world. And we're going to get cracking with round 1 mental agility, and tonight we've got what we call a neighbourhood game. And right away contestants can ask you to turn now and face your screens, and we're going to show you a chart. And we're also going to tell you that on the planet of Krypton, the Kryptonian forces are planning their annual war games. Now this is the command structure of those armed forces. And in a moment, we're going to ask questions about the relationship between those various ranks. But first, here is an example. Which rank is one below the rank, senior to the rank, senior to Stellar Commodore? Well, senior to Stellar Commodore is Colonel General, senior to that is Admiral of the Fleet, and one below that rank is Colonel General, so Colonel General is the answer. Right, turn to the front now, please, contestants. Now, I have one question for each of you, and it's worth 3 points. So will 3 of you stay looking to the front, and Mort Kamins only, will you turn now, please, and face your screen, ready for your question. Which rank is junior to the rank, 3 above Space Lieutenant or Lieutenant?
Stellar Commodore.
Is correct, and 3 points to you. And we move on now to Hayward Maberley. Which rank is 4 ranks above the rank, junior to the rank, junior to Colonel General? Your answer, please.
Colonel?
No, it was Intergalactic Marshal. So I'm afraid you failed to score, Hayward. We move on now to Topham. Which rank is senior to the rank, 3 below the rank, senior to Intergalactic Marshal? Your answer.
Stellar Captain.
No, it is Admiral of the Fleet. You failed to score, Chris, sorry. And on now to McDonnell. Which rank is 4 below the rank, senior to the rank, senior to Stellar Commodore?
Millennial Cornet.
Correct, and 3 points to you. So that's the end of the first section of that round, but now we increase the difficulty of the questions. Again, it's 1 each, and again, it's worth 3 points. And we start with a question to Mort Kamins. Which rank is senior to the rank, 2 below the rank, junior to the rank, 3 above Space Lieutenant?
Commodore.
Stellar Commodore, absolutely right. And you get another 3 points for the full 6. Well done. Now to Hayward. Which rank is 3 below the rank, senior to the rank, 3 above the rank, junior to the Colonel General? Your answer.
Commander?
No, Colonel General. So you failed to score there. And now to Topham. Which rank is 4 above the rank, junior to the rank, 2 below the rank, 2 below Commander-in-Chief?
Intergalactic Marshal.
Correct, and 3 points to you. And finally in this section to McDonnell. Which rank is junior to the rank, 3 above the rank, senior to the rank, 2 above Millennial Cornet.
Intergalactic Marshal.
Correct, and 3 more points to you, giving you the maximum 6 so far. Well done. And now to one last question, even more difficult and worth 4 points to the first contestant to give me the right answer via the buzzer. Which rank is senior to the rank, 4 below the rank, 2 above the rank, 3 below the rank, that would be held by the Admiral of the Fleet if he were promoted 1 rank? Mort Kamins.
Space Lieutenant.
Correct, and the 4 points to you. Well done. Right, let's enter those points into our master scoreboard, and with just 1 round gone, the early leader with a maximum Krypton factor so far of 10 from Studio City, California, Mort Kamins. Well, now to something very different, but just as difficult in its own way, the Krypton Factor Assault Course. Now, at the best of times, it's very challenging, but in the freezing month of December, it takes some conquering, especially if you've just flown in from the warmth of New Zealand, Australia, or California. So let's now join all 4 contestants shivering on the line. And Major Stan Meadows sets Mort Kamins from Studio City, California on his way, followed by Hayward Maberley of Brisbane, Australia, and Brian McDonnell from Auckland, New Zealand, and Chris Topham waiting patiently on the line. A handicap system, of course, for age difference, and Chris here at 26, the youngest man in the field, starts last and pacing himself nicely at the start. But 1, 2, 3 contestants now into the vertical pipes as Chris Topham drops down off the high balance. Nearest to us in red, it's from America, Mort Kamins. In the middle in light blue, it's Hayward Maberley of Australia. And in the far side, navy blue, Brian McDonnell of New Zealand. All together going up the cargo net as Chris Topham arrives and swings across, and indeed he lands about halfway up and climbing as he does land. Technique absolutely vital on this course, and indeed Chris Topham has made up several yards on those in front of him. And he scoots across those tram wires, and indeed he's level and jumps into the lead. Chris Topham in the lead from Hayward Maberley. As they go now towards the scramble net, it's Chris Topham in the lead from Hayward Maberley and Brian McDonnell in 3rd place. And up they go towards the top. Mort Kamins just starting in 4th place. But this is a moment for technique again as Chris Topham goes over the top, and he does that magnificently and lands, a good halfway, if not more, down that net, and opening up more yards on Hayward Maberley. So Chris Topham going clear now as he goes to the first of the 2 water jumps. He bounces in and out and goes on to the second of them. He's actually wearing braces. He introduced those in the semi-final of this year's Krypton Factor. He felt that it helped keep the trousers up when the weight of the water began to drag on them, and he feels it gives him a slight advantage. He's on the Burma rope bridge now. Mort Kamins struggling in the latter stages of this course. But Chris begins his descent. You can see those braces now as he goes down towards the mud and water at the bottom in freezing conditions. Brian McDonnell in 2nd place. You can see the wind blowing at those flags. It's absolutely bitter as it drives across the course. Chris Topham forcing his way under the last obstacle, and Mort Kamins had a longing glance towards the end there, wondering just how much longer of this torture is there to go. Not much for Chris Topham. He takes the tape and he wins that in a good time, with a good battle going on now for 2nd place between Brian McDonnell of New Zealand and Hayward Maberley of Australia, and New Zealand gets 2nd place. Believe me, absolutely dreadful conditions out there. They all did well. We enter the points into the scoreboard, and now with 2 rounds gone, we have a new leader, but only just. He's got a Krypton factor of 13, and it's the Krypton Factor champion of 1983, Chris Topham. So all nicely poised as we go into round 3 of the intelligence test, and right away, contestants, can I ask you to step down, please, behind those benches. And there you have in front of you a test based on a pass-along puzzle. Altogether, there are 16 squares, on each of which is 1/4 of the 4 flags representing your own countries. Now, you must pass the squares around the frame until all 4 flags are correctly assembled, and the Union Jack will be on your bottom right or our left. So if you're all ready, contestants, the test starts now. Well, this is a very, very tough test, and probably the best way to tackle it is to make up the American Stars and Stripes flag first, because that's probably the easiest of the 4, and then keep it as a whole unit when moving the squares around the frame, and stick to that principle as you complete the other flags. Now, Brian McDonnell has done that with the Stars and Stripes, and so too has Britain's Chris Topham. Indeed, that looks very close to finishing to me, and if he's done that, it'll be an absolutely incredible time. In fact, he has done it, and Chris Topham wins for the United Kingdom, and that is marvellous. It really is, because this is a really tough test, and Hayward Maberley almost wrecks his frame there. Brian McDonnell for New Zealand, a few problems there to sort out, but Hayward Maberley has finished second place. Another marvellous time, a smashing performance by Hayward. And they've really done well, because we felt this was such a hard test that we introduced a strict time limit. And if these two remaining contestants don't complete the test in that time, their placings are going to be decided by the number of squares correctly placed according to the adjudicator. And it looks to me like Brian McDonnell has the most in place, and he'll get third place, and Mort Kamins for America fourth place. And that's the way it is. Well, that was an absolute nightmare of a test, and we now enter the points won into the scoreboard. And with 2 rounds to go, increasing his lead with a Krypton factor now of 23 for the United Kingdom, Chris Topham. Straight on we go then into round 4, the observation test. Now, I know that you'll all remember the classic television drama Brideshead Revisited, with the huge success it had around the world. Well, the new television drama, confidently expected to follow in its footsteps, will be on your screens early next year. It's Granada's Jewel in the Crown. And contestants, if I can ask you to turn now, please, and face your screens. We have a scene from it coming up now, followed by questions.
What's all this in aid of?
The Warwick exhibition, some show the OC's organised. A bit of flag waving to impress the natives.
Really? I don't see how. I don't see many of them here.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? One waves the flag to show who it belongs to. Hello.
Oh.
Miss Manners, I think you know Brigadier Reed.
Brigadier? Oh, yes.
Rawpindy. I met you with your aunt. Some official do.
Oh, yes, it was.
Well, how is Lady Manners?
Oh, she's very well, thanks. Oh, this is Babs Linton, Brigadier Reed.
How do you do?
Tony Masters.
How do you do, sir?
And Reggie Brockenhurst.
Sir.
Well, let's hope this all goes down well. First public showing of the Berkshires in Mayport.
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, with Gandhi and the Congress putting their spokes in the wheel, it seemed a good way of showing our mettle. Now, not just for the regiment, the whole thing. Well, you better go and get yourself some tea before it's all gone, huh?
Yes, sir, we shall. How's Lily, by the way?
Fine. I'm sorry she can't be here.
Yes, so am I. Well, sir, what would you like to do? The parade starts in about half an hour. What's on after the parade? I think the Sepoys are going to do some wrestling.
Oh, I couldn't bear to see that.
Well, there'll be boxing, too, from our chaps.
Hang on a minute. Hello. It's Mr. Kumar, isn't it?
Actually, it's Kumar. Hari Kumar.
Oh,
Kumar was in England.
yes, I see. Do you remember me? We met at Lily Chatterjee.
Yes, I know. How are you?
Fine. I suppose you're here for the Gazette.
Yes, that's why. For the parade.
Turn to the front, please, contestants. Coming up, 2 questions for each of you, and they're worth 2 points each. And we start with your 2, Mort. At the beginning of the clip, when the party turned left off the red carpet, how many cannons were on the grass?
5.
No, there were just 2, so no points, I'm afraid. Where did Brigadier Reed first meet Miss Manners?
London.
No, Rawalpindi. Quite a way away, but no points. Sorry there, Mort. On we go to Hayward Maberley. As well as the cannons, the party walked past two vehicles at the side of the road. One was an old car. What was the other?
A motorbike.
Correct. 2 points. Who, according to the Brigadier, was with Miss Manners when he first met her in Rawalpindi?
Lily.
No, it was her aunt. So 2 out of the possible 4 there, Hayward. And now to Chris Topham's questions. There were several close-ups of the Brigadier talking to Miss Manners and the others. What was immediately behind his right shoulder?
A man in a white jacket.
No, it was a red, white and blue pole. You saw it at least 3 times. Next question. What was the regiment about to make its first public showing called? It was, got to hurry you?
Can't remember.
The Berkshires. So you failed to score, Chris, and now Brian McDonnell. When Miss Manners was talking to Mr. Kumar, what was written on the banner hanging high in the background?
V for victory.
Correct, and 2 points. What were our chaps going to offer after the parade?
Boxing.
Correct, 2 more points, the full 4 to you. Well done, Brian. And now, 4 more questions. This time they're worth a point each, and they're on the buzzer, but if a contestant gives me the wrong answer, well, then it's open for somebody else to try. So stand by, contestants. Here come the questions. What did the notice immediately outside the main marquee, Chris?
Officers and wives.
Wrong. Brian?
Officers and guests.
Correct. When the introductions were made inside the marquee, who did Miss Manners introduce first to Hayward?
A girl.
More specific. A name. Chris?
Chrissy.
Wrong. Anyone else? Mort?
I'll try Beatrice.
Wrong. The answer, in fact, nobody else trying, was Babs Linton. As the party approached the main marquee, there was a Red Cross vehicle in the background. How many red crosses did it display? Chris?
2.
Wrong. Mort?
4.
Wrong. Hayward?
3.
Correct. On whose behalf was Mr. Kumar at the parade? Hayward?
The press.
More specific than that, I'm afraid. Brian?
The Gazette.
Correct. And so on then to the identity parade, worth another 2 points. Now remember all the introductions that were made to the Brigadier inside the marquee. Well, the last person introduced to him was a rather eager-looking young officer called Reggie Brocklehurst, and he's the one we want the contestants to pick out from this lineup of 9 young officers. Right, contestants, will you make your selections, please, now? And number 7 there is the choice of Mort Kamins. Hayward Maberley has gone for number 3, and both Chris and Brian have chosen number 4. And let's now find out who it is as I ask the officer in that film clip to make himself known to the contestants now, please. And it is, in fact, number 5 in real-life actor Dominic Jeffcoat. So, no extra points to award for the identity parade, but we'll now enter the points won in the first 2 sections of the round into the scoreboard. Don't forget, just 1 round to go, and just look at that. New Zealand's Brian McDonnell has come up to within 1 point of the lead, but still out in front with 23, Chris Topham. And so we come to the 5th and final round, general knowledge. As always, it's in 2 parts, 3 individual questions worth 2 points each, and then 90 seconds on the buzzer, rapid-fire questions. But we start with the individual questions, and you're set, Mort Kamins. What is the capital of Afghanistan?
Kabul.
Correct, 2 points. Who co-starred with Claudette Colbert in the romantic film It Happened One Night, which won all 5 major Oscars in 1934?
Clark Gable.
Correct, for another 2 points. Which Portuguese explorer first sailed around Africa to India, opening a sea route to Asia between 1497 and 1499?
Vasco da Gama.
Correct. 2 points, and you get the full 6. Well done. And now your questions, Hayward. What is the capital of Ethiopia?
Addis Ababa.
Correct. 2 points. Who was the director of the classic western of 1939, Stagecoach, which starred John Wayne as the Ringo Kid?
John Ford.
Correct, for another 2 points. Which Spanish explorer led the expedition to Mexico that overcame the Aztec Empire in 1521?
Pizarro.
No, Hernan Cortez, but you get 4 of the 6. And now to Chris Topham and your set of 3. Which city is the capital of Saudi Arabia?
Don't know.
Riyadh. Who wrote the music for West Side Story, the musical which won 10 Oscars in 1961?
Rodgers and Hammerstein.
No, Leonard Bernstein. What was the name of the Florentine explorer whose expeditions to America led to that continent being named after him? It is
Columbus.
Amerigo Vespucci. So I'm afraid you failed to score, Chris. Now the questions for Brian McDonnell. Which city is the capital of Nicaragua?
Managua.
Correct, 2 points. In the 1939 classic film Goodbye Mr. Chips, who won an Oscar for his role as the schoolmaster who is shown aging from 23 to 83?
Claude Rains.
No, Robert Donat. Which Portuguese explorer died in the Philippines in 1521 whilst leading the expedition which went on to become the first to circumnavigate the globe?
Magellan.
Correct, 2 points, so you get 4 of the possible 6 there. And so to the very climax of this programme, 90 seconds of rapid-fire questions, answers on the buzzer, 1 point for the right answer, but a point deducted if a contestant gives me the wrong answer. So you ready? Stand by, contestants. The clock starts now. What is the only even prime number? Brian.
2.
Correct. Which planet in our solar system has only 2 moons, Phobos and Hayward?
Mars.
Correct. Who wrote the science fiction novels The Martian Chronicles? Brian. Quickly.
No.
The answer is Ray Bradbury. You lose a point. What do we call the electromagnetic rays discovered by Röntgen in Hayward?
X-rays.
Correct. Which country manufactured the Exocet missiles used by Mort?
France.
Correct. Which leader of the French Revolution was murdered in his bath by Hayward?
Robespierre.
No, Jean-Paul Marat. Which maritime explorer was killed in Hawaii in 1770? Brian.
James Cook.
Correct. What is made in cookery by whipping sugar? Brian. The answer?
No.
Sorry, meringue. You lose a point. Of which country is Rangoon the capital? Hayward.
Burma.
Correct. Who wrote Burmese Days, The Road to Hayward?
John Masters.
No, George Orwell. Which actor starred in Raiders of the Lost Ark and played Mort?
Harrison Ford.
Correct. Who succeeded Gerald Ford as president? Brian.
Jimmy Carter.
Correct. What do cartographers produce? Hayward.
Maps.
Correct. In which country is Maputo, which was Hayward? Quickly.
Botswana land.
No, Mozambique. Over what distance did American athlete Ed Moses win in a time of Mort?
400-meter hurdles.
Correct. Which game with 4 players on each side is played with 4-foot-long mallets and a solid... No time to answer that one. It's the end of the round in the contest, and the winner tonight is Brian McDonnell with a Krypton factor of 27 for New Zealand. Well, congratulations to Brian. He came here last year and won the international edition, and he's come back and done it again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Krypton international champion, Brian McDonnell. Well done. Congratulations. And please accept the trophy.
Thanks very much.
To do it twice is absolutely tremendous. Now, after last year, you went back home, I gather, to a tremendous reception.
Yes, well, I think it was a pleasant surprise to the New Zealand people last year. They may be expecting a bit better this year.
Well, they saw the programme last year. Of course, it was shown out there. This one will be shown out there as well, so they'll be very proud of you. What about next year? You're coming back for a 3rd time?
Well, I'll have to look into my crystal ball about that one, Gordon, but the opposition was really tough this year. And if I forget my nerves, I think I might like to come back here.
Great. Well, we'll try and warm the assault course up for you next year. Thank you very much indeed. Congratulations to Brian McDonnell, and indeed to all our contestants who came from all over the world to take part. Come down and take a bow. And that is a lot from the Krypton Factor tonight, but we will be back next Monday night at 7 o'clock with a very special edition with people who have truly left their mark on 1983. So don't miss that next Monday at 7. In the meantime, from all of us to all of you, good night.